always a pleasure to welcome experienced business leaders to UCLA Anderson, and today I have the pleasure of talking with Wes Nichols, the former CEO of MarketShare and now a board member at Upfront Ventures, the largest venture capital fund in Los Angeles. So Wes, it's a pleasure to have you. Thank you for joining us.
Good to be here.
So you were really, your background has been in data analytics, and you've started a few companies and moved on, and now you're doing the investing into those types of firms. Yeah. What is it that you are bringing to the table as far as looking for these new investments? What is the thing that you're looking for that will be that next innovative company that could be the next big win for Upfront?
Well, I think as maybe classified as a recovering entrepreneur now after doing two companies, one called Direct Partners and then MarketShare. The thing that I've been learning along the way in my journey has been, it's ultimately about the people. It's looking for the management team, looking for a spirit of innovation, looking for a spirit of winning. Ace Greenberg, the CEO, former CEO of Bear Stearns, had a phrase that I always like called that he looks for PSDs. Those people that were born poor, but are very smart and had a deep desire to be successful. And those were the ones that ultimately prevailed. Doesn't mean obviously that they didn't have an MBA, but they also had something in their background that made them hungry to succeed and hungry to push through what is oftentimes a pretty unpleasant lifestyle when you're starting up companies.
Because startups are hard.
It's very hard.
Yeah, and of course UCLA Anderson is known for its entrepreneurial amount. What is the thing that you want to see from our MBA students? Because this will be part of your audience to understand what do they want to be to create that team that you're looking for?
Well, some of it's intangible, like grit. Okay. You know, like literally the ability to power through the darkest days, because there'll be great exciting moments, and then there are going to be what the hell am I doing kind of days. And getting through that and sticking with the vision, having a clear North Star on the business is absolutely critical. And I think an understanding of a category enough to say this is what's wrong with it and therefore this is how I can disrupt it, that's something that we have to look for as well. What I'm interested in from a investing standpoint now is creating essentially a portfolio of investments that cover the gamut around AI and analytics, big data, and enterprise software as a service. I think there's a lot of headroom left in all those categories. I think AI is just beginning. It's something that I'm proud that MarketShare was one of the first companies in the industry to actually deploy AI into a commercial setting, primarily for CMOs, to help them allocate their resources most optimally and give them guidance along the way. And you know, marketing is just one part of the business spectrum. So I think there's a lot more areas, a lot more industries that can be cracked that way.
Because that CMO role, it's completely changed in recent. Now with new data analytics and. What is it that is, how do you see that vision for where that next investment is going to be, that next disruptive firm that's going to bring something new to the marketplace?
I think that understanding wherever there's an opportunity to create a 10x improvement in the way things have been historically done is generally the threshold that I've observed that matters. That if you can't create incrementality that's at least 10x better than the way people have been doing things, 10x faster, 10x cheaper, then it's not worth it. It's hard to get early adoption from companies willing, to sign up for something brand new like that, if it just looks like it's an incremental baby step towards something better. So I think being able to come in and offer something that's substantially better, more advanced, saves time, saves money, that's better. I mean, the ability with MarketShare was, we're going to show definitively what's working, what's not in your marketing allocations, and attribution, which is ultimately what drives the P&L, and help optimize that on the fly, looking at thousands of data variables simultaneously. No one had done that. No one had done anything like that. It was all backward-looking analytics. It's like driving the car through the rearview mirror. So all of a sudden, we're offering CMOs the ability to have essentially turn-by-turn instructions like Waze brought to marketing allocation. It's never been done before, and that's a dramatic improvement in terms of the ability to prove business impact, the ability to optimize, and the allocation and obviously link it to P&L impact, something that most CMOs haven't really been able to do. That's changed the complexion of what CMOs look like. They now tend to be more science-oriented, more maybe coming out of finance. It's a very different role. You look at someone like a David Christopher at AT&T, or Denise Karkos at TD Ameritrade. These are people that will be CEOs of companies here shortly, I think. And they are perfectly suited because they're bringing that discipline of art and science together, which is quite unique. I'm looking for other companies that have the ability to come into an industry and disrupt it ambitiously and identify pain points that can be solved and do it in a, I'd say, an aggressive but bootstrap-oriented way, rather than someone wanting to come in and raise $100 million and think that they would have the life that they used to have at Disney in an entrepreneurial setting. It doesn't happen.
And you've got experience with that, with MarketShare. You learned firsthand.
Oh, yeah.
So you mentioned how important teams were in bringing that together, and you were very successful, and a lot of UCLA Anderson members on your team at MarketShare.
One of the biggest recruiters of Anderson.
You were. How did you pull those teams together? What were the things and experiences you learned in that team to get MarketShare to where it was for it to be sold off?
Well, what's interesting is Los Angeles generates more engineers than any city in the world. No one knows that. Yeah. Mayor Garcetti's out there talking it up, but if you think about all the schools that are pumping out engineers, and I think the same goes for very qualified, business and MBA students, and yet there hasn't been an infrastructure. The network effect hadn't really started to kick in yet for Los Angeles. So they would often go to different places. So all of a sudden, MarketShare was offering an opportunity to work at a tech company, work with some of the world's largest global brands, and develop something that had never been done before. And so that became an attractant for some of the best graduates coming out of here. And we used those team members to work on either client services, some were in product, some were in the PMO group and the engineering group. It really depended on, obviously, on their background, but they were often some of the best performing people on the team. And then we exported them to different offices, and we had offices around the world. So that created portability opportunities.
Yeah, love to hear those success stories, so thank you. So do you think Los Angeles has hit a new precipice about how we've got this new LA tech community that we didn't have 10 years ago?
Absolutely. I look at when we got to the point where we decided to raise capital at MarketShare, it was pretty paltry. In terms of the
you had to leave Los Angeles.
We did four capital raises on Sand Hill Road in Menlo Park, and we raised probably right around $90 million or so ultimately through that process. And I would have liked to have had some neighbors involved in that, but it just didn't exist. And I think now what's happened is between MarketShare and Snap and some other firms that Maker, some other firms that have ultimately had some sort of exits, it's created a network effect. It's created more wealth into the area that's been able to bring more entrepreneurs out of these companies. You look at Riot Games or you look at Snap, it's an incubator of new businesses and ideas, and they have money to do that. And then you look at companies like Upfront that have been able to really be long on LA and put together a fantastic team to bring value to entrepreneurs. And all of a sudden, between academics, creating the right students, capital being there and ideas being there, we're starting to really see an interesting dynamic happening here. I think it's a very exciting time.
Yeah. The momentum seems to be in LA's favor right now.
Is.
And now I think Upfront is a big proponent of that, because you've just done a fairly large capital raise for a new fund, and you were a big participant in Maker at the time, to have that exit. What are those new things?
A few of other interesting companies in the portfolio too. Yeah.
What are the things that you're looking for in that next Maker, that next Snap, that next LA-based innovative company that's taking all the benefits that LA's bringing with its creativity that you like to see to invest in?
Well, as you can imagine, I've got a a history of being interested in analytics. Someone asked me the other day when I was in 6th grade, what did I want to do when I grew up? And I think they were expecting me to say I wanted to be a fireman or something, and I wanted to be an NTSB traffic accident investigator.
Did you really?
Yeah, kind of read everything I could on that. So I've always been in the mindset of let's use analytics to break down why something happened and learn from that. And it's oddly enough, it's sort of extended into the career choice that I made. And what I'm trying to bring into the venture capital space now is I'm interested in bringing that discipline to venture capital. Can we put together, a large and sufficient enough database to actually start to do pattern recognition in what's worked and what hasn't, and then start to apply that discipline to the way deals are invested in. So the dynamics might be team, it might be breakthrough ideas, it might be seasonality, it might be market timing, might be related to the VIX on consumer volatility. Not sure. It might be some. Obviously, it will be some combination of all those things. But if I can start to use analytics in a way that I did at MarketShare to bring into the venture capital space, I think that is going to create some interesting breakthroughs in venture capital. I think that will continue to yield opportunities in tech. I think looking at things related to e-commerce, obviously AI and analytics. I think hard science. We happen to have a very rich hard sciences capability here in Los Angeles between JPL and the old defense Northrop Grummans of the world are all based here, and looking at finding other interesting deep science opportunities to invest in is something that I'm interested in as well. It's all about how do we drive quality life and quality improvement for humans. How do we drive business optimization so businesses can perform better? I think content consumption is going to continue to change. I think things like VR and AR is going to, even though it's being a little buried by crypto coin right now, I think that we're going to continue to see that to be an investment thesis that continues to grow as well.
Excellent. Well, it sounds like a bright future, and we wish you all the success. And please know that you have a partner in UCLA Anderson to help you build that ecosystem out.
I can't wait. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for being here, Wes.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.